everybody, I just wanted to do another update. So I had my imaging sent to my specialist. I have it done locally because my specialist is over 800 miles away. So I do the imaging here and then they send it to them at UC San Diego and review it for me. It's really important to make sure that your specialist reviews your imaging and just follows you even years after surgery, even if you're not a surgical candidate anymore, because they know what they're looking at, or they see more than a radiologist or other doctor may see. For example, I messaged him and said, when you receive my imaging, could you please look at my bowels, because this is what's going on. And the radiologist noted nothing of concern, and I just want your eyes on it so I know maybe I have an answer or know what to expect. So he did look, and he wrote that it, let's see, that my small bowel is slightly more dilated than the prior CT, which was just 2 months ago. But there's no single area where it looks like an obstruction might be happening. So he suspects there's just more bowel that is being tethered by tumor. And that was to be expected in my situation, the way my disease is, and it can't be removed. And I just have so much disease on the bowel and mesentery that things, are going to start to stick together, and my bowels are probably going to have a hard time moving around because they like to move around and roll and stuff, and it'll make it harder for them to be able to do that. So that will cause pain and problems, causing potentially several areas where food is having trouble getting through, and this is causing your symptoms. I don't see an easy solution to this surgically, so I think you will have to try to best manage it with diet. You can decrease intake of things that are difficult to digest, fiber and fibrous meats like red meat, and even consider a liquid diet if you start to feel symptoms. Good news is that the disease burden seems pretty stable, and happy to discuss further. And I said, thank you so much. I try to manage it with soft liquid foods, and it does seem to happen if I have bread, so I'll be careful with that. So I found that if I have a sandwich with 2 slices of bread, it's a problem. If I have half a sandwich, it's okay. If I have a whole slice of toast, sometimes it's too much. If I have half a slice of toast, it's okay. So I just really need to have the least amount of bread as possible, and I think that'll help. But I also asked, the CT mentioned soft tissue in some areas. What does that mean? Because my CT report summary says stable, but it did note new soft tissue areas, especially around the bowels. And so I wanted to understand what that meant. And he said, radiologists sometimes use the vague term soft tissue when they see additional tissue in places it shouldn't be. And in your case, I think these are areas of tumor. So this is, again, why it's so important to have your specialist following you, even if you are not a surgical candidate anymore. I know I can always reach out to my specialist, and he will always answer my questions, even though I'm not a surgical candidate. So it looks like things are getting rougher for me, and I could feel it. Claritin did seem to make it worse, so I do feel better, but I did have another rough night the other night, and I'm not exactly sure what I ate, but I did have quite a bit of toast, so it might have been that. And normally sourdough's okay, but it's not anymore, so it's just bread, and I've just got to be really careful. And the tough thing is, this weekend is a family reunion, and my aunt always wants me to eat. It's just who she is, making sure everybody eats, and it's hard. I feel like I'm being rude when I'm saying I can't eat more, but that's just where I'm at. I am skinny, in my opinion. I know I look fine, and to most people this is like a healthy weight, but not for me. I hurt a lot between the prednisone and the omeprazole and what they're doing to my bones. My spine hurts really bad. On days that I take omeprazole, I've gotten it down to where I'm taking it every 3 days instead of every day. And that's better, but the days that I take it are rough. My hips hurt really bad, the front of my hips, and which is a heebie-jeebie zone for me. My lower back feels like it's going to break, and it's inside the bones. I feel it inside the bone. And also TMJ. So for example, I was eating toast with a friend and everything was fine while I was chewing, and then something popped out and my jaw was stuck. And even when I don't feel it pop out, it makes it difficult for me to open my mouth and brush my tongue and brush my teeth all the way, or even chew food. So it's affecting my jaw as well. And I have a history of TMJ, but I haven't had problems since my early 20s. So that's what's going on for me. I just don't like feeling pain. I really hate it because it does take an emotional toll on you. So yes, for the last month with everything I've been going through, I've been pretty depressed, and I haven't been myself, and I haven't been able to help people, which is my purpose in life and my mission. It just makes you miserable. So if you know somebody in pain, try to be compassionate and understanding with them if they may be grumpy or different, and try to offer support in any way you can. Sometimes company, just watching a movie together or just being nearby is helpful. But anyway, that's my update for now. So bad news, but not too bad news. I'm doing okay right now. Looking forward to some family time, but I know that my body is changing, and that's really difficult to accept, especially when you want to live. So I'm gonna do my best, and I love food. So this will be really hard for me to try to avoid, especially bread, but I have noted right before issues that I've had, it's been caused by bread or an orange or an apple, things like that. So I can only eat a tiny bit of those things. So I've got to change my diet again and try to keep the weight on. So anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble, and I hope everybody's doing good. And if you have something good to share, I'd love to hear it. Talk to you later. Bye.